Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Intellectual Potluck. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are joined again by my very lucky husband, Grant.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're going to talk about the second love of his life, Nickelback.
Oh yeah. Avid Nickelback fan since 2003 when I first heard their newest album at the time, The Long Road,
Of
in
course, you know the
my
year.
friend's car at 15 years old. And then loved them and seen their tour, every tour ever since.
Yeah, we've actually got a couple of his shirts from the tours. I haven't ever been to one, so I've stolen one of his. I think this is your first ever one.
Yep, 2009. That was the Dark Horse tour. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first shirt ever.
It's very cute. I like
Yeah.
well, it's now pink. I assume it was red back in.
It was red
Back in the day.
back in 2009.
And you've got one from, I don't know.
Yep, I got the Here and Now tour, 2015.
Yep,
And that
so
was the last tour they've done in Australia.
Oh, and for
Unfortunately.
anyone joining us on video, this is Arlo. He is our fur baby,
Yeah.
and he's a bit of an attention seeker, so he couldn't bear to not be on camera, so here he is. We may need to cut in and out of audio if he decides he's gonna be a nuisance, but yeah, he'll just do his thing. He's already wandered off. He's already over it. Clearly not a Nickelback fan.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so Grant loves any excuse to teach everyone to respect the back, because the back doesn't get the respect that they quite rightly deserve, I think.
No, unfortunately they don't.
You know, for anyone who doesn't know Grant, as he said, he's been to every tour. He is an avid listener. He owns every CD, even though I've tried to tell him that CDs are outdated and a dying medium, but he doesn't care.
They are, but I've got them all physical and digital in case I lose one.
And in case all of the stores burn down and you can't get a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, the records are next on my list.
We don't even have a record player.
That's true.
He's going to buy a record player, isn't he? Oh my god. So some of Grant's love of Nickelback has rubbed off on me. When I first met you, you were literally going to a Nickelback concert, like...
Yep, March 2015.
Yeah, so like a week or two after we'd met, and yeah, ever since then your love for Nickelback has just not died. But something that I hadn't really been aware of until meeting you was that being a Nickelback fan is not really deemed as cool.
No.
Like,
no.
yeah, I don't know if I just like missed that part of like social education, but I don't remember learning that. I just remember knowing that Nickelback's a thing, and like I didn't really know much about them other than Rockstar. And
well, after Rockstar is probably when the hatred started.
Okay, well we'll get into like the timelines in a bit, because Grant's really good with years and stuff, so he will be able to give us a full timeline on when things happened. But
yes.
Yeah, I was very oblivious until we first got together. But then, so a few weeks ago, we went to see a documentary about Nickelback that was made last year. I think it was called Love and Hate.
No, Love to Hate.
Love to Hate.
Yes. It screened 2 days worldwide last month.
Well, I thought that was just Australia.
No, worldwide. 27th and the 30th.
I mean, you are the Oracle. Like, I trust you to be right. I'm just surprised.
Yep.
But yeah, we went to see that. Like, as soon as they announced it, you had tickets, and we went with a couple of our friends, and yeah, Grant got to fully nerd out on Nickelback. I had to stop you from singing at the top of your lungs at a couple of points.
Yeah, it was the best 2 hours ever.
Yeah, but everyone else didn't come to hear you sing. They came to hear Chad sing.
It was weird. There were some kids in the audience who probably have never even heard a song before.
I know, clearly just like parents who are fans or something. I don't know.
And dragged them along.
Yeah.
And it was a full house, by the way.
Because people learn to respect the back. So yeah, we went to see that, got to fully nerd out, and got to learn a little bit about why people seem to hate Nickelback.
Most hated band in the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of came away with more questions than answers. Like, I don't feel like... Because a lot of it was from the band's perspective, and they don't know why they're hated. Like, they have ideas. Yeah. So, I don't know. They seemed a bit sad about it. It made me a bit sad.
Yep, especially when Ryan talks about his kids growing up and going to school, and basically they get picked on for what his dad does.
Which one was Ryan? Or is Ryan? Sorry.
The bass player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't quite managed to get to Grant's level of nerd. But Grant is what I'd call a Nickelback stan. So, for those of you who don't live on the
what's a
internet.
stan?
Yeah, if you don't live on the internet as much as I do. So a stan, I think it comes from like being a stalker fan, but it really just means that you're like a big fan and you know everything about them. And I would say that's pretty accurate for you and Nickelback. You probably like know their birthdays, their addresses.
No.
Not quite that level of stalker.
No.
That's good. That's reassuring.
No.
But yeah, at points I kind of felt like you could have written the documentary. Like you're pretty good with your facts and your dates, but Nickelback is like your.
No,
Your
because I
passion, you could
didn't
have
know
written
much
it.
of the early days. Because I'm not a huge fan of the first two albums, which are the non-studio albums.
Sacrilegious to say.
So.
Let me guess, you still own them though.
Oh yeah. Oh, only one.
Oh my god.
I haven't bought the other yet.
You're still missing one from your collection.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyway, there's a lot to say on this. I'm sure those of you who aren't Nickelback fans are at least aware of the Nickelback hatred and maybe less oblivious to it than I was. So, yeah, we're just going to jump into it and chat a bit about what we learned and what we think, like Grant as a Nickelback nerd and me as a bit of a Nickelback novice, but not a hater. No haters in this room except maybe Arlo. He's not looking overly impressed right now. The main thing that the documentary was focusing on, like it went through the whole journey of their growth as a band, but it really did want to hone in on why people hate Nickelback and why they receive the level of disdain that they do. I think they described it as Nickelback being the first like group to be cancelled before cancel culture was a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like most people, it's like you listen to what you want and you enjoy what you want to enjoy, and that's cool. But with Nickelback, somehow it's not cool.
Yep. Yeah. What was your verdict after seeing the documentary? Did you get the answer to the question?
I don't think I got an answer. I think I kind of just determined that people are dicks, and especially on the internet, like people, like if something becomes a meme, it can just spiral out of control. Like being a Nickelback hater kind of became a meme.
Yes.
And then it was just like, it was a funny thing to share. They just became the butt of the joke.
While making those millions.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is hard to have too much sympathy when they've done so incredibly well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you never get that kind of hate with any other band. I know that when I told some of my colleagues that we were going to see this documentary, and they all looked like horrified, like it was a ludicrous thing to do, and I'm like, do you all hate Nickelback, or do you just like not know? Like, I don't know, I've never judged someone for their taste in music.
And what was their answer?
I didn't really get an answer. I didn't press too hard because it's work. You don't want to like. I don't want to start a Nickelback war in the workplace. Like, there's enough drama at work without Nickelback being a part of it. So, yeah, I just kind of left it. But it was so weird. It was such a strange reaction. I was really surprised because like we're all very like accepting and accommodating, but somehow not for Nickelback.
What I got, the closest thing to an answer I got, was basically they were overplayed. So they gave this stat in the US from 2000 to 2009. There was a Nickelback song playing every 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On all the radio stations nationwide.
Yeah, okay. So you were probably hearing Nickelback daily.
Yeah. So How You Remind Me would have been the first. And then,
what songs were big in that time?
So then there was probably the second album, or technically fourth album, wasn't as popular. So then it would have become Rockstar or Photograph would have overtaken, and then the radios would have just gone nuts.
Yeah, 'cause I remember them talking about one of the albums that was really big.
All the Right Reasons.
All the Right Reasons.
Yep,
that
2005.
Was it.
Yep.
I don't know why. I always think of 20 Good Reasons.
Oh, yes.
Which is obviously nothing to do with Nickelback, but I'm like, it's got the word reasons in it. And my brain doesn't get past that point. I don't know. A song played every 3.5 minutes across America. Surely Taylor Swift's doing that at the moment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But like,
definitely.
I don't know. It makes me wonder if Taylor's going to end up getting the same hate that Nickelback gets, and like Swifties are gonna get hated like Nickelback fans.
Yeah, probably in the 2030s. Yeah.
Yeah,
She'll be in her 40s. Yeah, she'll probably get the exact same thing.
yeah. I mean, we're
Yeah.
probably gonna get Swifties coming at us for even daring to think such a thing.
Mm.
But she's played a lot, and like you can see the hate kind of already building. I know that some American football fans were cross because she's dating an American football player, and like the cameras kept going to Taylor rather than like other people in the crowd or the game.
Oh, you shouldn't do that at the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I don't know if it happened at the Super Bowl, but I know that
Okay.
like other games that he played, there was like lots of shots of Taylor cheering, and like the newspapers would be showing Taylor, and all of the American football guys were just like, oh, why the fuck are they showing her? She's nothing to do with it. Like, she's just there cheering on her boyfriend. So there's already a little bit of hate. And like at the MCG, weren't people booing her?
Oh, were they?
Yeah, like when she came to Australia, people were booing her at the MCG, or booing Swifties. I don't know. People were booing.
Yeah.
So there's kind of already a little bit of hate going on.
Yes, yeah. Well, everyone was playing it. Even Triple M, a rock station, ended up getting on the bandwagon and did rock versions of her songs.
But she's not rock.
Yeah, it was just you had to talk about her when she came to visit. And I assume other countries were doing the same thing.
That's so strange, though. Like, if she's not your demographic.
No, she's definitely not.
Yeah. Like, be different. Like, play something else. Like,
Yeah.
and, you know, no hate to Taylor. I actually really like Taylor's music, and I think that she's a bit of, like, an icon for women. I think that she's great. But she is on the same path as Nickelback. Like, lots of success, all concentrated into one. Like, she's been big for a while, but this year she just seems to have, like, completely exploded.
Yep.
Like, she's done all of her Taylor's versions, and she's done her tour. She just released a new album, like, yesterday, and it ended up being 2 albums. I don't know. I don't keep up. There's too much. But she's definitely on that track.
Yep. Yeah. Is she memed a lot? Like Chad?
I've seen memes of Chad. I haven't seen many Taylor memes, actually. Probably because the Swifties can be vicious. No one messes with the Swifties.
Yeah.
But I guess the other thing that Taylor has that maybe Nickelback didn't have is if people are sick of radio now, they could just tune into Spotify.
Yes.
Whereas in Nickelback's heyday, there wouldn't have been an equivalent, like unless you wanted to put a CD on in your car or
Yes. Yeah.
a cassette if you had an old
Yeah,
car like I
yes,
did.
radio would have been dominant. And then in 2005, social media was extremely new.
Yeah, social media obviously plays like a huge part. I mean, I live on social media. I do social media for a job, and yeah, it can be a really dangerous place, I suppose, and opinions can really spiral. But Nickelback kind of experienced that before, or like not before social media, like social media was a thing, but it wasn't as nuts as it is now.
Yes, yeah, and they talk about that in the documentary, how basically Chad cops it all, not the actual band. So most of the memes are photos of him, and how he talks about all the band members have families and lives outside the band. Because he doesn't have a family or a girlfriend or wife or whatever.
The band
is all his life, so he just takes the whole brunt of it.
Yeah, and he's the face as well. Like he's the face of the band.
He's the face of the band, exactly. Yep. And he did this really, really good speech in the documentary, and he said he could laugh off 90% of it, and he seemed really genuine when he said it. And then he said, I can't remember the full speech, but it was, I play Nickelback songs for Nickelback fans. If I was to play Nickelback songs for anyone else, that would just be torture for them, and it would also be torture for me.
Yeah, and it's such a good point. Like, the music that you play is for the people that are going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes you want to expose different people to different things and whatever, but Nickelback make their music for the people that enjoy it. Like, if you don't enjoy it, then no one's forcing you to listen to it. They're not being played every 3 minutes anymore, and yet somehow they're still hated.
They're very well aware that the 2000s was their prime.
Yeah. And I guess it doesn't help either that Chad, so he has a really distinct voice. Like, you can tell a Nickelback song from a mile off because his voice has very unique, like, graveliness. And
Yes, but have you heard of the 2000s band, which I think don't exist anymore, Creed? So they had
I
a
thought
singer,
that was a movie.
and they had a singer, and he sounds very much like Nickelback, or sounds very much like Chad.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So if you listen to "Arms Wide Open" by Creed, you could easily pass that as a Nickelback
Oh, I do
song.
know that song.
But I think they're religious too. I think that's also the difference.
Maybe. I don't
Where
know.
if you've heard some of Nickelback's songs, especially the Dark Horse tour, you would definitely not think radio friendly or
Is that where something in your
Yes.
mouth comes from?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
And,
the one
yeah,
that always
something-
comes
yep.
to mind.
Yeah,
If you haven't
that.
heard that song, definitely.
Well, and
check it
there's-
out.
Yep, and Animals.
Yeah, but something in your mouth is just so explicit. Don't listen to it with
Yeah.
children in the room. But it's pretty funny. It's quite funny to listen to.
Yep, and Shaking Hands.
You're getting into stuff I don't know now, babe. But even though his voice is really distinctive, I don't think every Nickelback song sounds the same, which is kind of feedback that I've heard before about Nickelback.
Yes. Yeah.
But like,
Well,
I
there
don't
was
think-
probably one. They were probably talking about all the right reasons, and of course there was probably like a theme to the album.
Well, yeah, a bit like, again, gonna do lots of Taylor
Yeah.
comparisons apparently, but like Taylor's albums all have themes.
So I assume they all sound the same, or very very similar.
I think there'd definitely be songs that sound similar, and like everyone's gonna have a unique voice. Like, it's weird that he's picked on for his voice being so distinct. But like, I don't think How You Remind Me sounds like something like Burn It to the Ground. I don't think they sound at all the same.
No.
And the fact that
No.
Chad has a very distinct voice doesn't make the song sound the same. It's very dismissive to the rest of the band to say the only thing that matters is the singer's voice.
Yeah. And then Chad's gone on record that says Rockstar is a country song. And
I can hear
could-
it.
Yeah,
Like,
it could definitely pass as.
It has some country
yeah,
vibes.
Yeah. And if you sung it as a country song, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
I've also seen, there was a TikTok ages ago of people...
Graph. Never mind.
No idea. You could just
Yeah,
have
yeah.
randomly said graph there
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok, I think I sent it to you, of people line dancing to Burn It to the Ground. Because the chorus...
But that's not a country song.
Well, the chorus is a really steady beat, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so people can line dance to it. I'll have to find it. I'll link it in this as well because it's really cool. I really like it. I'm gonna have to track it down.
You also need to link the sea shanty that we heard in the documentary.
Yes, I love the
Yes.
Oh my god.
Sea shanty.
Shanty.
Yes.
Okay, we're not going to say that again,
Which
but
I cannot
I'm sure
remember.
you'll know what we
I
mean.
can't even remember what song it was now.
No, but if we search Nickelback,
I assume it was
sea
How You Remind
shanty.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, saying sea shanty reminds me of me trying to say Potluck podcast the first time, and it just didn't work. Like I didn't think the name through. Like guys, But yeah, I feel like a lot of the hate is just really uncalled for. Like even just from the sense of why be dicks to people, like it makes no sense to me. There are real people on the other end of the stuff that you say, and I think that's something that the documentary really highlighted for me. Seeing the band's reaction, and especially Chad, who just seems so sad at some points.
Mm-hmm.
And I know at one point they needed to get a new drummer, and they got the guy. I'm not good with names, so they got their guy who they
Daniel.
have now.
Daniel.
Sure. And at the time when he was going to join, he was basically told, if you join Nickelback over, was it Nine Inch Nails? Who was
No, Three Doors Down. If you know the song Kryptonite, you'll know Three Doors Down.
But he was told that he should stay with them over Nickelback because he'd get hated if he went to Nickelback. And so he's made that choice and has just had to weather that.
Well,
and-
here we are 18 years later, and when was the last time you heard Three Doors Down?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure he has no regrets. And he's been the drummer now for like the longest period of any of their drummers, I found out.
Yes.
But that's such an awful decision to make. Like, if people don't like your music, then they should just let you be. Like, why be mean? Like, why be dicks? Why not just be nice to people?
Oh, when you're that successful, when every song is a hit song, like I assume they released 5 or 6 songs, I can't remember, of All the Right Reasons, and all of them were number ones.
But yeah, they had amazing success, but since when do we hate people for being successful?
Oh, all the time.
Right, but
Celebrities, musicians get it all the time.
then why don't we hate Taylor? Why don't we hate
Oh,
Ed
yes.
Sheeran? Why don't we hate Adele? there's so many successful people, and we don't hate them. We just allow them to exist, and somehow for Nickelback it's not okay, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, and I can't even think of another rock band that got that kind of hate.
No, I don't think that there has been another one. And I know that there's some people that automatically start disliking bands as soon as they become popular or become mainstream. Like, I think Melbourne is very stereotypically known for that. Like, as soon as a band stops being indie, people just hate it. Like,
Yep.
oh, now that lots of people like it, I don't like them anymore. It's like, that's
'Cause they went
genuine.
mainstream.
Yeah, but that's just genuinely hating success. Like,
yeah, well, most of them want to go mainstream because that's where the money is.
yeah, a band that you like was successful, and you're choosing to hate them for it. I don't get it. And like, we'll go into a few more details later on about like some of the numbers behind it, but the numbers indicate that people don't hate Nickelback. They just say they do, and that's just so weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, here's one stat: 11th highest grossing band of all time. That's 10 behind the Beatles.
The Beatles are number one.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know
Of
stuff.
course, they've made the most money.
But one thing that I would say about Nickelback fans is that they are so loyal. Like, they are the most loyal fans of, like, anyone. And I don't know if it's because of the hate, but Nickelback fans are just, I don't know, it's almost like a badge of honor. And, like, you're all so excited when you find another Nickelback fan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, when I met Amy, oh, it was great.
Yeah, I discovered the other week that our friend Amy is a Nickelback fan, but Grant had apparently known for ages because he sniffed out the Nickelback fandom straight away.
Yep, still trying to get her to listen to the new album, Get Rolling.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the very different cover art.
Yeah, it's got the...
Camper van?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure about the cover art. I think it's too different from what they've done. But yeah, it's so nice that Nickelback fans like band together in light of all the hate and just like, I don't know, form a little like Nickelback army.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots of other bands and singers that have the exact same fandom.
Well, again, like Swifties, but Swifties are nuts. Like,
oh, that seems like a cult. Yeah, we're nothing like a cult.
Yeah, I've made this argument to a Swiftie friend of mine. But I know, especially when the Eras tour was coming around and tickets were hard to come by, there was some Taylor Swift fans who were like, you're not a good enough fan to deserve these tickets. Like, I'm a bigger fan, so therefore you shouldn't try and buy them because you could stop someone like me from going. And I don't know, some people get really into it, and I get that they're like upset about maybe not getting tickets to something they're very passionate about, but you can't gatekeep fandom.
Wouldn't some of them be too young? Like, she's a year younger than me, so she, started 2009, 2010? Some of these little girls would have been born then.
They would see themselves as like the most hardcore fans because they've been fans for their entire lives. And yeah, no, I've heard so many like different things about Swifties like gatekeeping fandom, whereas Nickelback, you guys are just so excited to find another fan that you're like, oh yeah, come on in. Oh, do you only like Rockstar? That's fine, that counts. You're a Nickelback fan. Like, everyone jump on board. Like, just get off the hater train and join the love train. Like, that's a very weird metaphor, and I wish I never used it. But you get what I mean. Like,
I get what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Like, it's very welcoming. It's very...
Yeah, well, you could only name, when I first met you, you could only name one song. And you thought it was a really popular song. It's got a really good concept.
Which one?
If Today Was Your Last Day.
Oh, yes, yeah. I do like that one.
Yeah.
I still think that's a popular song.
Yeah, it's a good song. Great music video.
I'm also terrible at knowing who sings what song. So I did know more songs, but I didn't know Nickelback sung them. 'Cause I'm just really, really bad at that.
You probably thought it was Creed or Three Doors Down.
I don't know Creed. But yeah, I would have just thought, oh, it's someone. Oh, that song's cool. I'll remember the song, and then I never remember the artist. And that's really shitty of me. I should remember and support the artist. But yeah, I think even the biggest haters would admit to like having danced to Rockstar or something at some point in their life. Like,
oh yeah, surely.
Yeah.
Surely, yes, yeah. Or if they're massive wrestling fans, there's a song called "Burn It to the Ground," which they used as is it a walk-on song?
Yeah. So you wouldn't think it to look at me, but at one point I did boxing, and I was in a charity boxing match, and I was struggling to pick a walkout song, and Grant recommended Burn It to the Ground, and I loved it. It is still to this day my favorite
High
Nickelback
intensity.
song.
It doesn't drop. It doesn't let off.
Yeah, but I'll tell you
let
what,
on, yeah.
everyone loved it. Like, there was some walkout music that kind of sucked, and everyone loved mine because the beat was just on it, and it just built in exactly the right way. It was perfect. Like, it was the best recommendation. But I reckon most people didn't even twig it was Nickelback. They were just like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, they're just like, this is just a badass walkout.
Yeah, it's not like it's the most popular song.
No, but it's definitely my favorite, or one of my favorites.
So, and probably because of the wrestling, it made it more popular.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think we can talk about Nickelback fandom without talking about Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yes, yep. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes, he's so cool.
Yeah.
But to anyone who may have missed that era of the internet, Ryan did a series of videos, or like...
Yep, 2018 to promote Deadpool 2.
Thank you, yes. I was going to say, it was to promote something. But he did a bunch of videos with, was it Fred Savage?
Yes, yep.
Cool.
Yep. Oh, just one with him, but the rest were, yep.
But look at me knowing names.
Yep. Yep. So,
We're being proud here.
So, yeah. And well, Deadpool's Canadian, so this is where the correlation with Nickelback is.
But non-Nickelbacks... No, non-Canadians are allowed to like Nickelback. But... yeah, he did some videos as Deadpool where he was basically saying, I don't get what this hate is. Everyone needs to just shapen up and realize that Nickelback are amazing. And, you know, wasn't it like hashtag respect the back?
Respect the back, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that.
I'd never heard that before until seeing that video.
I know, but it's so good.
Yeah. And then he's the one that taught me so much. I didn't know the stats.
Yeah, so I'll link the video to that in here because Ryan really does it better justice than I will. But like, he knows all the stats and he is clearly a proper fanboy. And it was so cool to see like a big celebrity and a well-respected celebrity and a superhero like endorsing Nickelback. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was great.
And so random,
great,
which is very on brand for Deadpool.
Yeah.
But...
and then he came back last year because they got inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame. And Ryan was the one that presented it.
Oh my god, I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I would like to think he's done a lot for Nickelback fandom. Like, I suppose he might have helped some people come out of the Nickelback closet. Like, oh, if Ryan likes
yes,
them,
he
it's
has.
okay.
So Lizzo has come out and said, I absolutely love how you remind me. And Chad was caught at a Lewis Capaldi, the Scottish guy.
Sounds right.
Yeah, concert. And then, ended up going on stage.
Yeah,
but yes,
so
he absolutely loves them.
people are coming out of the closet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great, because even if they're not your cup of tea...
Oh, Rockstar is so goddamn catchy.
It is so catchy. There's so many songs that really get stuck in
And How
your
You
head.
Remind Me.
Yeah, but even if they're not your cup of tea, like, they don't deserve the hate that they've got.
No.
It's nice to see some positive PR coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a good few years ago, so, you know, Ryan, we need more videos. But it was awesome. All right, so we've talked a bit about some of the different like reasons why people might hate Nickelback and like a bit about the fans.
Documentary.
But I think the main thing that I want to touch on is that the numbers behind Nickelback's sales and success just do not agree with the fact that everyone hates Nickelback. If you can quantify something with numbers, it makes it much more factual. And the numbers say that people like Nickelback.
Yes, yep. Chad has quoted the lyric, if you know the lyrics of Rockstar, a bathroom you can play baseball in with 16 cars. He can afford that now because of those sales.
So I did pull up some stats, which I'm going to run through. And Grant probably knows a whole bunch off the top of his head because Grant has a freakishly good memory with like years and just, I don't know, general trivia stuff that never comes up when we actually do trivia, but in random conversation you'll be like, oh yeah, that happened in 2002.
That was the year when Hero came out, so Chad did a song for Spider-Man 1.
That is an amazing song.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Love that song. And is that the one with Santana?
No, that's Into the Night. Yeah.
Who's Hero with? Because it's not Nickelback.
Some guy from a band. I can't remember.
Yeah, but Chad wrote both of them, didn't he? We'll fact check that. But If anyone hasn't heard those, they are really, really cool. Especially Hero, which is from the Spider-Man movie. That's Chad singing. It's not the rest of Nickelback, but really, really cool.
Yeah, YouTube that one.
But anyway, yeah, so I know that you mentioned that they got inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame last year, but I found out...
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think it was the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. I don't think they have a rock and roll specific one.
Oh, don't they? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I
Yep.
could be lying. Again, I'll fact check. But I found out that I think it was in 2007, but they were on the Canadian Walk of Fame.
Oh.
So they've been on that since 2007, but then it's taken, maths, 17 years?
16.
Oh, because it was last year, yeah. 16 years for them to go, oh yeah, these guys do music. We should put them in there too.
Yeah. Bryan Adams had got it, Alanis Morissette had got it.
Are they Canadian?
Yeah.
I don't know
Bryan
where you
Adams
store
is
this
probably their
knowledge in your
biggest
brain.
export.
Export.
Yeah.
What about Justin Bieber?
Oh, yeah, he's Canadian too. Yeah.
He's got to be bigger, surely.
Yeah.
I know, he's
yes.
younger though, so you know.
Yeah.
Over a
But
lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not good with that stuff.
So yeah, the stats.
Yes, they have won so many awards that I went into a complete spiral because there was just too many to name, and I'm like, this is just going to get really boring to listen to. So just know there's a lot of awards, some Canadian, some worldwide, just lots. They are very highly acclaimed. But the big figure that I think says the most about how the general population feel, they have sold over 50 million albums over the course of their musical career. And that is an absolute shit ton.
Oh yeah.
And
most of that is all the right reasons.
well, probably only 1 million of them are you. So like, there's other people out there. And this means that either Nickelback fans are so obsessive that they're buying like 20 copies of each album themselves to try and fudge the numbers, or there are a lot of secret Nickelback fans out there that are just too scared to come out of the closet. Like, that's not a number you can fake, that's not a number you can fudge, and like, I know that they've released so much music, so like, obviously the more that you release, the more chance you have of things getting big and things picking up. But if your music sucked, you wouldn't have got past the first album.
No, and they said in the documentary, Silver Side Up, which is the How You Remind Me album, was very, very successful. So that was 2001. And then 2 years later, the Long Road came out.
Which was less successful.
Which had some really good songs on it. And yeah, it wasn't as successsul.
Yeah, like you never know what's going to hit the right note at the right time.
Yeah, so you think that could kill their career, and then they end up, 2 years later, 2005, end up having their highest selling album.
Which was All the Right Reasons.
Yeah, which is All the Right Reasons, yeah.
And I think the fact as well that, like, so Nickelback were represented by a heavy metal label, which is very strange because they're definitely not heavy metal.
Was it Roadrunner Records?
I think so.
Yeah.
But the fact that this... Sorry, we're distracted by the dog. But the fact that this heavy metal label stuck by them through all the ups and downs says a lot. Like, they could see the value, even though this wasn't actually, like, their scene. This wasn't their music scene. But they saw the value in Nickelback and were like, no, we don't want to lose you. Don't go off to so-and-so. We want to keep you, even though you're not heavy metal, because you are bringing in the money.
Oh, How You Remind Me brought in a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. I'm a big fact and figure person. I'm a big graph person. I love a graph. You don't sell 50 million albums if everyone hates you.
No.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that's not up to 2005. That's now also all the albums afterwards.
Exactly. The math isn't mathing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just means that the internet must be wrong. If you're out there spouting Nickelback hate, maybe just play a couple of songs and be like, how much do I actually hate them? Or if I do hate them, should I hate them quietly? Because it's not affecting my life. That's my take.
They get a lot less hate nowadays.
Yeah, they do. Except when I told people I was going to see that documentary, the horror on their faces.
Well, you remember this one part of the documentary where they went up to Chad and said, oh, a celebrity is saying this. And he was like, oh, not again. And then they're like, no, it's something positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was shocked.
Yeah, that was so cute.
They never said who the celebrity was.
I wonder if we're hoping that they're going to tour Australia soon.
And they're doing Europe this summer.
Yeah, so we're hoping that they might do Australia next. I wonder if they'd sell out here.
They definitely did in the 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they could. I think that they've got enough fans.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, we got a massive mention in the documentary, and a lot of when they would show clips of YouTubers or people talking about him,
A lot of Aussies.
I heard a lot of Aussie accents. It was crazy.
Yeah.
When I actually expected to hear a lot of Canadians.
For a small population, you guys just put yourselves out there. You're just in the way.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised by that.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, the numbers shouldn't matter. People should be able to like what they like. If there's anything that I want to achieve by doing this podcast, it is just spreading a little bit of kindness and encouraging people to be kind, especially on the internet where it is so easy to be a dick. Like, when I came up with the idea of this being like a bit of a potluck, it was kind of the thought behind you and other people that we know and like anyone else out there coming forward with a topic that they find interesting or something that they like, and we just delve into it and learn more and discover more together, and like either look like complete idiots or like you seeming like a very knowledgeable Nickelback stan.
Yeah, no, there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah, but you know a lot. So in terms of the potluck, you know a lot, but I definitely don't.
Yes.
So that was kind of the idea behind it, but I just, as well as the idea of like learning something from everyone, I really want to encourage people to be kind to people, and it's really easy to see big celebrities like Nickelback as not people, but everyone has feelings, and there's a real person at the end of your tweets and posts and TikToks, and yeah, just think about how you'd feel. Like, you never know how something's going to hit someone on a particular day. But yeah, that about covers it for me. I think we've covered everything we wanted to. Had a bit of a rant, a bit of a vent.
Yes, yeah. I could have talked longer, but that's enough from me.
You are more than welcome to.
Yeah.
People might get a bit Nickelbacked out.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed sharing your fandom with everyone.
Yes, yep. Very rare I get to talk about them.
Yeah, I'll pop all the links for everything that we've talked about in the description as well. Maybe a couple of our favourite songs that you should go and check out, because there are so many great ones, and Grant and I have very different favourites, so there's a bit of something for everyone. But yeah, there's a good reason that they were the most listened to song on our shared Spotify account last year.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, be sure to check them out. And I'll also pop in all the links to all of our social medias at Intellectual Potluck as well. Haven't delved into TikTok yet. I'm not brave enough to enter that space. I'm trying to avoid short form content a bit, which I may rant about in a different podcast. Yeah, we're out there. You can find us, and remember to be kind and respect the back.
Yes, respect the back.
Bye, guys.
See ya.